Hi everyone, it's Heidi from Costume Co. coming to you with another video brought to you today from the Cadillac Fairview Eaton Centre, Toronto Eaton Centre. So happy to be here. This is the first time I've done a live event, so it's really exciting. And I've brought here some amazing cosplayers. It is Fan Expo Canada this weekend. It's actually their anniversary. I think it's their 25th anniversary. It's down at the MTCC in Toronto. They're here all weekend. So I've had the pleasure of meeting some of these cosplayers. A few of them are new to me, so I'm really excited to hear all about what they're wearing and how they got into cosplay. So we're just going to start off by introducing everybody. So to start off, we have Victoria, and we have Megan. Is it Megan? Yes. Megan. And we have Dark Dagger, and we have Full Metal. And what's the name of your cosplay or your character? Blackberry. Yeah, Blackberry. So thanks so much, you guys, for coming out today. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon in Toronto. We're really happy to be here. So to start off, we're just going to go through and ask a few questions of you and tell us a little bit about what you're wearing and so on. So to start off, are you all attending Fan Expo this year?
Yes.
Yeah?
Definitely.
So tell us a little bit like why you like Fan Expo and why you go to that every year.
All right. Well, for starters, it's just just fun to let your inner geek out. Have a good time. With a lot of Comic-Con nerds, nerdettes, if you will. It's just so fun to wear a costume as well. It just makes you feel like a kid again.
Absolutely. What about you? What about you, Full Metal? There. So I don't need to be
I kind of feel the same way, like just a way like to let out what geek I have and see my friends. I have a lot of friends who come up like from the States and stuff, and this is like the only time I see them. So yeah.
This is my first time at Fan Expo, but I've been to like other cons and stuff. So like cons in general are kind of just like a way for me to like express myself and like meet other people who are like interested and stuff like that.
Oh, sorry about that. I don't know, Fan Expo, the costumes is the biggest draw for me. I'm also really into comic books, so always like digging through the bins is amazing. But in terms of like getting into cosplay and stuff like that, I think Fan Expo is like the perfect venue.
What do you Megan?
Yeah, I like Fan Expo. There's nothing like it. Like the first time I went, it was a little overwhelming. There was just so much going on, but it was so amazing. Like just seeing everybody dressed up. And I didn't dress up, but it was like you like go in there and you're like, oh my God, I want to be a part of this, and just seeing like everybody express themselves like through artist work and like through their costumes. It's like there's nothing like it.
So everyone, besides Fan Expo, are there other cons that you go to? You guys were saying that. Why don't you tell us a little about some of the other cons that you like to attend?
I've been to Anime North and Con Bravo, and then the Hamilton Comic Con, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the Anime North, I've heard a lot about that one. So what's that one like? Like what's the attendance of that compared to Toronto?
I'm pretty sure it's in Toronto. It's, I think, like the 4th biggest convention in North America, like for anime and stuff, and it's really, really big. Like it's in like a whole like parking lot, so like the whole parking lot is just like full of people. It's really big, but it's really fun, especially because it's more anime focused, hence it's like Anime North, so I'm mainly like into anime, so that's where I get to wear all my anime stuff.
What about you, Dark Dagger? Have you gone to other cons besides Fan Expo?
Actually, yes. From the past 2 years, it was Toronto. My first Comic-Con was definitely Toronto Comic-Con in 2016. That's when I first broke out as Dark Dagger, but with the full body armor. And
that's the one in March, right?
Yeah, that was one in March. And if I'm not incorrect, I do remember going to Niagara Falls Comic-Con 2 years ago. It was my very first time going to Niagara Falls. I heard nothing but good things about it, and I wanted to check it out for myself. And also, there was this one day, the Toronto Fan Days holiday show. Definitely been there before a few times. It's really fun. And that's actually all I can remember. I'm trying to plan to go to New York Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, LA Comic-Con.
Yeah, so San Diego's the big one, right? Is that the one? But Canada does represent.
Yes, big time.
As well. How about you girls? Have you been to any of the other cons?
We've done Comic-Con, like Toronto Comic-Con, we've done Fan Expo, we've done Fan Days, not really into anime, so I don't go to Anime North really, but the dream is obviously San Diego Comic-Con or even London Comic-Con would be amazing.
Yeah, I've also only just been to fan days and Comic-Con.
Great. Okay, so you guys, one of the biggest features of having you here right now, so I don't need this mic, is your amazing costumes. So why don't we start with you two? I mean, immediately I recognized who you are. Do you want to tell us a little bit what you're wearing? You're obviously a set.
Would you like to start, or should I start? Sure.
Okay, so we're Steve and Robin. I got my costume from Hot Topic. Hers is.
See your label there.
I have the Robin name tag. Hers is from Party City, ordered online. She has a hat, I obviously don't, but we also just put our costumes together. Like, this is a wig, this is my own hair. She got her shoes from, what's it called, Ardene's, and made them some bootleg Adidas. She painted those stripes, and mine are some bootleg All-Stars, and bootleg choker from my work.
I can continue sort of add on to that. We've been planning more complicated cosplays for this weekend, so we have been sewing things for tomorrow and for Sunday. So this was a last minute sort of what's a silly cosplay, and Stranger Things was so joyful this season, and I don't think anyone watched it and didn't like latch on to Steve Harrington, so we really wanted to do the really kitschy outfits.
He's absolutely my favorite character. I adore him. Yeah. And also, like, just to mention what you were riffing on is that, or what I'm going to riff on is that on the weekend when you guys do Fan Expo, maybe not for so much for you, do you guys do different outfits? For, you know, so you'll have, if it's a 3-day weekend, you have a different outfit picked out for each day. That's super. Although if you're traveling, it's hard because then you have to pack it all, right? So why don't you both tell me about your outfits then?
Well, mine's from Yo from Love Live. I just got it online. It was a last-minute cosplay. I wasn't going to cosplay her, but it was like too hot for me to wear what I wanted to. So.
What character are you?
Yo from Love Live. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So and what about the wig?
Wig is Leah's.
It's yours. Yeah. You share your materials.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I'm Junko today from Danganronpa, which is mainly a video game. It's like a 3-part series, but there's also an anime adaptation. This costume was bought online. I don't usually do that. I usually make my costumes, but this didn't seem like something I wanted to try my hands at. Yeah, they all came just like from online. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. What about you, Dark Dagger?
Okay, so like I did mention before that my costume did start off with a body armor type, you know, like with shin guards and the shoulder and arm pads. And then also I wanted to elevate the costume a little bit to skin tights. And so I did talk to a friend who actually made this suit, goes by the name of David Rosnagel from Secret Identities Designs. Like, he's really good. He really did help me out with the pattern of the suit, the red lines as you can see. And then honestly, just from there I just wanted to make like a few more designs. The second design I got is like this, but all black. And the third one is a mixture of gray on the top, black on the bottom. And so honestly, I did exactly that.
So it's evolving.
Yeah, so
your
evolving.
character is evolving.
Yes.
And I asked you behind if you had that screen printed, like they did that really. It looks like kind of like it's like a tweed, but it's actually screen printed onto the spandex.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. How did you come up with your logo?
Okay, so a friend of mine that I used to work with at a barbershop goes by the name of Tristan. Shout out to my friend Tristan. He helped me design. Yeah, we were actually talking, and he actually is a superhero fanatic like myself. He actually helped me out with the logo. He does designs for logos, and from there I just figured, you know, it'd be perfect for Dark Dagger.
That's awesome. So next I was going to ask you, okay, now I know you guys, you said you got all of these online. Don't always do that. I know, Victoria, last year you were wearing Captain Marvel.
Captain America.
I'm sorry, I keep saying Captain Marvel. What's wrong with me? Captain America, but it was all hand knit, right?
Yeah.
Or was it crochet?
It was knit.
It was knit. So that was really cool. And you did that yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have your mic. So let me start with you then. So what are some skills that you've developed through cosplay, like learning to sew, maybe doing
hairstyling?
Hairstyling. And if nobody, actually, I'm going to put all of your Instagram accounts under the description so people can check you out after. If you go to Victoria's page, you'll see that she's got all these amazing hairstyles. And you go to baseball games dressed up sort of, I would say sort of 40s style? Yes.
40s style,
so,
yeah.
So hairstyling, so go ahead and tell me about that then.
Just in terms of the wigs, I tend to do a lot of sort of vintage cosplays. I'm really into the 30s and 40s just in day-to-day life, so they don't make a lot of lace front wigs that look really realistic, and that's a pet peeve of mine. So I have, this one started off as a waist-length wig, which I cut. It was actually for my Bucky Barnes cosplay originally.
Wow. Okay.
So it's just been repurposed for Steve. But wigs, definitely didn't wear them before I started cosplaying. In terms of the other things, knitting I already did, but probably the most complicated thing I did was make a Captain America shield out of a steel saucer sled. So spray painting is a new skill other than hairstyling.
Yeah, and I have a picture of you in that costume on my account, but also if they go to your account, they can see that.
Yep.
And also I saw that you did, what was the other MCU costume you did?
I've done Peggy Carter as well.
Yeah, Agent Carter. Yeah, and that's really great. And that sort of fits again into your sort of 1940s sort of thing. Are we going to ever see maybe a Diana, like Wonder Woman from you?
No.
No, okay. What about you? What kind of skills have you developed? You guys kind of work together. You said wherever you go, she goes. So
Sort of like I embroidered the star onto her Captain America knit sweater, but mostly for me, like finding like being able to like know how to like get a good deal, like how to thrift shop is like really important. I did a Punk 11 cosplay, and that was like all like just gathering pieces. You know, like I went hunting at Valley Village to like get like a good blazer. I like made sure that there was like a good deal at my work for something that I needed. I would like grab it. You just like being able to keep an eye out for things that'll be beneficial is like, you know, like I think like an underplayed skill, but it's still important.
absolutely. So like one of the things we were talking about is that cosplay can be really expensive. So you're constantly, I guess, on the lookout for deals, like maybe online. Like where do you get your wigs from, by the way? Sorry. Where do you get most of your wigs from?
Wig stores in Toronto.
Oh, in Toronto, okay.
Yeah, so ones that aren't meant for cosplay specifically.
Oh, you do, like specific, yeah. So that's
not
actually
specifically for cosplay, just like day-to-day wigs.
And then you style them yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about you two? Like where do you both like to source out items that you're going to either build or make, or what kind of that kind of thing?
Like online, like AliExpress, Amazon, and like Wish are like pretty much like the main.
Yeah, and with Amazon they have free shipping a lot of times, so you can get stuff in. And what kind of skills have you developed since cosplaying? When did you first start cosplaying, by the way?
Very frequently. I think it was not frequently, like a few months ago.
Oh, really? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Did you take her under your wing? Is that how it all happened? Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got the master sort of teaching you.
Yeah.
So is there any skills that you've developed as a result of cosplay?
Definitely makeup. I wasn't as like extra with my makeup before, but like now I like to do extravagant looks, like big, like glittery,
Yeah.
obviously.
You got the false eyelashes.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've done a beautiful job
Thank
with the
you.
glitter, and the wig looks great too. And you're also wearing contacts, which is a common thing that we see in cosplay as well, right?
Yes, I am. The skill that I got from cosplay would probably be sewing. I always like to sew. Like I would sew like, little things and stuff, but I started just making costumes like from scratch, like no patterns, like no sewing machine even, like hand sewing cosplays. And I've done a few like entire outfits just hand sewn. And it's really rewarding like to be able to go to a con in something that you literally fabricated out of nothing. And in terms of expensiveness, I buy from AliExpress usually, stuff like that. But I'll go to, especially for fabric, I'll go to like Value Village. They have a bunch of fabric. I'll use sheets like from Value Village and just make that into my costumes and stuff like that. So it is really expensive.
I have another friend who cosplays, and she uses repurposed duvet covers a lot of the time. Like duvet covers are really great because they're double-sided, so you have all that extra
and they're
fabric.
already like hemmed too, so you can just.
Absolutely, yeah. What about you, Dark Dagger? What kind of skills have you developed since along the way? It doesn't have to be sewing skills, but
actually not really sewing skills. I just see something online for a good deal. I just go for it. Like these fingerless gloves I now have. I believe they were about like $20 or $30 something. I got them on Amazon, and as soon as I could, I just got a gift card and just bought them, and then about a few days later, they just came in the mail, and I know I got the good deal. I know I got my money's worth for them.
Yeah, like when I first met you, you were wearing like, I think it was like a sports,
Yeah, it
like
was
armor?
Yeah.
What was it? Like sports armor that you had repurposed
Yes.
and made it into body armor.
Yes.
Which is a really great idea, like keeping your eye out for specific things. So you're like, oh, this is used for this, but actually this would work really well for cosplay.
Yeah, because, you know, as I did mention in your video, the superhero fashion, they do change from skin tights to body armor. And so, you know, I wanted to, you know, catch up on that. And so I did.
Okay, so we've gone through what you guys are wearing. So next, what is your favorite aspect about cosplay? If you can think of something.
I can't even put into words. I mean, just dressing up, you know, makes you feel like a kid again. It's just no greater feeling than that.
Yeah, and you know, like for instance, last year when I went to Fan Expo and I met you, I saw you like with a bunch of other cosplayers. You looked so happy. You guys were all taking pictures and you know, tweeting them out and stuff. So what's that experience like, you know, being with other cosplayers and connecting that way?
It makes you feel like, you know, like you're in the ultimate clique. Like it doesn't matter to, you know, to what anyone else thinks. Like you're just, you know, being your unique self, creative self, like you just go with it.
It's like you found your people when you go there, right?
Yeah, it's like you found like your family, your friends.
Mm-hmm. What about you? Full Metal.
I would probably say friends as well, just because the community here at least is really welcoming and accepting, and no matter what your skill level is, you always have a place with people who like the same things as you. So I find that really nice, and also bringing my costumes to a convention and having people go, oh my god, like I know that character, and taking a photo with you or whatever it is super validating because you worked so hard to get here. And people are just appreciating your costume.
So do you mean like when people go to the con but they're non-cosplayers and they want to get a picture with you?
Yeah, even cosplayers
other
come too. They're like, oh my god, like I love your costume, or like even just little things like I like your makeup. Like it just brings you up, man. And
that's awesome. And as a novice yourself, newer to cosplay, what are your observations and experiences so far with cosplay?
It's a very accepting community. Like, you know, cosplay is like deep into cringe culture, so people bully cosplayers basically, but when you're at cons and stuff, like you feel accepted by like everyone, and everyone's so kind and nice and stuff.
Yeah, like for instance, like when you walk around, like if you're on your way to a con, like on public transit or walking into like the mall today, what happened there? Like were people looking at you? Was it sort of a strange experience?
You get a lot of looks. As someone who's cosplayed in public very many times for the last 4 years, you get a lot of looks, a lot of, sometimes even in public people will recognize you, and that's really fun, but like a lot of looks, a lot of like up and downs kind of thing, like what?
Yeah. What about kids though?
Kids, I find sometimes like they'll look, but then they'll be like, her hair, like whatever, like that. It's really nice.
You might look like a Barbie.
Yeah, or something like that, like
a princess,
something like that.
Princess.
Yeah, especially cosplays that are like, I have a Spider-Gwen cosplay, so from the new Spider-Man movie. So when I went to Con Bravo in Hamilton, it was right across from a mall, and the con kind of flowed into the mall a bit. So a lot of kids were coming up and just being like, oh my god, kind of things, and like getting pictures and stuff like that. So it's really nice when you're in something that kids recognize.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What about you, Victoria? What are your experience with that? With like, you know, walking around in your costume outside of an actual con?
You are very popular with the children if you're dressed as Captain America. The shield is a big draw.
Absolutely.
For some of the more niche things, you get a lot of weird looks. So I don't know what the weirdest thing I've done. I know she did Kate Bishop a couple years ago, and she had a black eye that she did with makeup, but that was getting concerned looks from people who didn't realize.
Well, and also you were 11, and you had a nosebleed, right? And you look really kind of pale, and if anybody didn't see you last year, you had the blonde wig, you had a nosebleed, you're wearing that pink dress with a smocking. And so what happened with that?
Well, I got a lot of, even if they recognize the character, they'll kind of be like, oh, do you need a tissue? Last Fan Expo, actually coming home on the train, was it Fan Expo? It might have been Comic-Con. Coming home on the train though, I was in Punk 11 mode, so not as iconic, not as known, and so I was just kind of like tired. I was on the train, and this woman like looks at me really concerned all of a sudden, and I'm like, what's going on? And then she's like, do you need a tissue? I'm like, what? Oh, no, it's fake. Yeah, so that's
Did you use
stuff
stage
like that.
blood for that? What
Just like Dollarama blood. So.
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking a little bit about the community, the cosplay community. What are your thoughts about the community in itself and the cons? What are people like? Do you find it welcoming? Do you find like you've met your people there?
I think there's like politics in any community, but for the most part, people are wonderful, and it's a joy to sort of see people. A lot of the cosplay friends I have, I see only at cons, but when you see them again, it's like no time has passed, and it's such a joy to see what other people have worked on. I think that's my favorite part, is seeing other people's costumes.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So you may not connect in the outside world, but at the con you kind of regroup, you come back together
for
again.
A lot of cosplay friends, at least for me, like I'm super into sports, cosplay, and sports don't.
Yeah. If
Very
anybody
often.
doesn't know, Victoria is a huge Toronto, not Maple Leafs, Toronto
Blue Jays.
She's a huge Blue Jays fan, and she's always going to the games. And you always remind me of Bull Durham a bit. You know Bull Durham with. It's a baseball movie. It's a baseball movie, and there's one of the female characters in there. She's always kind of dressed up really hot, but she always goes to the baseball games and cheers on the game. Yeah.
I do have my cosplay friends do follow me on Twitter, but I feel sorry because, again, it's just baseball nonstop.
And what do they think of you when you go to the baseball games? What do the players think when they see you dressed up?
Players haven't commented too much. I mean, I don't go and cosplay, but definitely a lot of the players know who I am. I go to a lot of games.
You always have the red lipstick on, though.
I do.
You always have your hair done beautifully.
So I think I look quite distinctive, so they know who I am. None of them ever said anything weird to me about it.
I'm sure they love it. Yeah. What about you, Megan? What do you think about the cosplay community in general?
Well, I'm not like super involved in it. I'm not like a terribly social person, but like in general, like most of the people like that I've come across have been like very nice. Yeah, like it's like any situation basically. If you treat people well, hopefully they'll treat you well as like back sort of thing.
One of the things I was going to say is when I've gone to Fan Expo, just even I was sort of kind of thinking myself being like a Billy on the street where I'm sort of chasing people down. I'm like, hey, can I interview you? Like I've never had anyone say no to me. They've always been extremely generous, really welcoming to do pictures, to be on camera with that. Even when I reached out to all of you, you were all like, really amazing. I really appreciate it. So after this weekend, after this con is done, I still have a few days to go because it's just Friday. So it goes till what, Sunday? It's a week earlier this year, I think. What do you guys have planned coming up? Do you have any other cons coming up? Do you have any big costume projects coming up?
Well, we've been planning we've been talking about doing a Hercules cosplay maybe.
Really? Like the cartoon? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Oh, that sounds amazing. So what would the process to get into that be?
No idea. It's very, very, like we literally just thought of it last night. But she wanted to be Hercules, so.
Is this what happens? Sometimes you'll just have an idea pop into your head. You'll think, all of a sudden you'll be in a non-situation and you'll think, oh my God, that would make such a great cosplay. You get an inspiration and it pops into your head and it's really strong and burning. And you decide you need to do that.
Kind of like sometimes out of nowhere, sometimes like she's been talking about for a while, but.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
I wouldn't have to wear a wig. My hair is red, so
exactly.
This is like the only thing other than Black Widow that I can do. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here, I'll pass it on to you guys. What about you?
There's another Toronto con, I believe, next month. So KimiCon is next month. So I'm planning to.
Will you wear the same outfit, or will you plan something different?
No. Yeah, I'm planning 3 other outfits. I have like a shoot one day in one of them. So.
Yeah. What about you, Famela?
I'm also going to KimiCon in Toronto, I think next month, right?
Yeah. What's KimiCon?
KimiCon. I've never been. It's a fairly new con, I think. I know it ran last year, and it was a bit expensive, so I kind of waited to see what it was like. I asked my friends. I was like, hey, you went, like, what's it like? And they were like, it's pretty good, so I'm going to go this year. do 3 other costumes. My plans are kind of up in the air right now, but I might rewear my Sailor Moon cosplay.
I was going to ask you, so do you sometimes repurpose your costumes?
Yeah, once in a
Recycle your
while. Like
costumes?
I've worn this, like I've had this one for years. I've worn it like about 3 times this year already. But like yeah, usually I'll like, if it's a 3-day con, like 2 of my costumes will be new, and one of them will be maybe something I didn't get pictures of last time or something like that.
How many costumes do you have in your closet, by the way? Should I ask? Is that,
That's a scary question. So I have a sister who also cosplays. So all our costumes sit in the basement on a rack. And combined, we probably have about 30 wigs, 50 costumes.
wow.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of room. Do you have to keep your wigs on foam heads, or do you keep them in bags?
If they're super styled, like some wigs are like super spiked or whatever like that, we'll keep them like on heads or like out, like where they can't get squished. But most wigs, like that one and stuff that's just like down, we just shove it in a bag and put it in a box for storage until we need it again.
You'd have to have a very good labeling system then to keep track of everything.
I don't. I'm so unorganized.
Where's this wig? I need it.
Yeah, before I go to a con, if I'm looking for a wig, like I have 17 black wigs, and I'm looking for one specific one. I'm like pulling them all out. I need to get on that, but yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Dark Dagger?
Well, I have heard of KimmyCon from last year. I didn't go. I definitely want to go this year. For sure.
Is that for anime, or what's that one geared toward more, or is it just like a normal con? Maybe you don't know.
I haven't been, but I'm assuming it's just general. Everything probably more like a Comic-Con style, maybe. I'm not sure.
That's great. So anyway, we're going to wrap up shortly, but I was going to ask you. We were talking a little bit about the expense of what you guys spend. Is it really expensive to cosplay? Like, if you wanted to become a cosplayer, could you do it like to start relatively inexpensively, or is it pretty expensive to get? I mean, you obviously were borrowing and getting some help, but what do you think about that?
Honestly, because what I have, what I bought is really pretty expensive. Some expensive, some not so expensive. They're pretty affordable price for me.
Now you tend to stick with one costume though, right? But
Yes.
you've evolved it.
Yes.
Have you thought about doing other cosplay outfits, or is this sort of what you're going for?
Dark Dagger is definitely what I'm going to keep going for no matter what, until my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, continue the legacy.
Yeah, and you also model and do other sort of projects outside of like in your costume though, don't you?
I'm thinking of doing a little bit of modeling.
Yeah, I thought I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah.
So he's available, if you guys want to reach out. What about you? I have a feeling you spend a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty expensive. There's ways to kind of keep it as budget as possible, like thrifting and stuff like that. The average wig is like $20 to $30 probably, I'd say. So for having
And that's an
like
inexpensive wig. That would be on the
that
low
would be
end.
this one's like $30 and it's not like really nice, like a lace front wig, like where they have the realistic hairlines. I bought mine for $70, something like that. They're really, really expensive. But you can always thrift and upcycle things, which is like going to the thrift store, and if a character has like jeans with something on them, like you buy the jeans and you put whatever it is on it. Like upcycling is really inexpensive, but it's not always possible, I guess, with any sometimes costumes are just too intricate for that.
Yeah, and then are you able to ever get any compensation? Like I have one friend, she enters contests sometimes, so she'll win contests and make a little bit of money. Is there any compensation you can get for what you've spent?
I'm hoping to enter some contests this upcoming con season, just because I've just gotten onto, usually contests are like you have to have made your costume. So, and since I've just been getting more into like fully making my costumes, I'm hoping to enter something this year a couple times and hopefully, get some money back.
Yeah. Now what about you? You just started, so you haven't really put a big investment in yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent a lot of money so
you have
far.
already?
Like, quite a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been cosplaying for that long, but I have quite a few costumes and stuff, so.
So if a young person starting to cosplay and with the parents get concerned about them getting into cosplay because of the expense of it? I mean, I suppose it's no different than being in hockey.
Yeah, that's what I like to think of it. But my parents never, I started when I was probably 12, and my parents never paid for anything. They give me like food money when I go out like to Toronto for the weekend 'cause I'm not from here. But no, I've just been having to pay for everything myself, basically. So my parents are okay with it though. They like it.
That's awesome.
Especially when I do things they like.
I'm glad they're supportive of you. What about you, Victoria?
I'm only saying this because my mom and my grandparents are not watching, but it's extremely expensive. I think, so the most ambitious of my cosplays was the Captain America one, so you can see it on my Instagram if you post the handle, but it was knit entirely from 40s patterns, and the yarn for that cost around $250. The total costume maybe around $500 or $600. And the thing is, I just saw one of my friends today, and she has a Captain Marvel suit on, and I asked how much it was, and she went, $600. So it's not out of the ordinary.
And you made that yourself. So if you were to buy that, though,
I don't know anyone that would knit a Captain America costume for me.
and how long did it take you to knit? I probably asked you that last
3 months.
Yeah.
It was quite the skirt is what took a long time. A lot of the things, again, you can thrift, and if you have really great friends, like I went as Viago from What We Do in the Shadows, and Megan was nice enough to embroider for me the flowers that he wears on his jean jacket. So it's great if you sort of, once you join the community, there's a lot of people who are willing to share their skills or their knowledge and stuff like that and able to help you, but starting out it can be extremely pricey. I think the wigs is like the biggest thing.
Yeah, and then also makeup can add up too. Makeup's very expensive, and false eyelashes and contacts. I don't know. I think contacts are.
Some makeup's not really that expensive.
Yeah, I think it depends. Well, girl makeup is probably a little. Do you wear the dark eyes though?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I did buy them at
What do you use? Do you use?
I just.
Oh, sorry. Pardon.
What I use for eye makeup usually is like a black one, like I saw it at Theatrics Plus. It was about.
Yeah.
It's not even. I would say it's like that expensive. It's like about 5 to 10. Give
Like
or take.
Ben Nye or something, or okay, or Mayron or.
Something.
Yeah,
like that.
like a stage makeup of some kind. But do you use, what kind of makeup do you girls use?
I usually just use kind of drugstore stuff. I buy my eyelashes online. I buy my palettes with. You need a lot of colors, kind of, especially when you're doing costumes like this where your eyebrows need to match your wig. So I buy colorful palettes from Morphe and stuff like that. And I usually buy contacts at cons, which are about 25, to anywhere from $25 to $50. And then they expire after a year, so it's
you've got to try use them up, right?
Well, I've been sort of doing makeup for a while, so a lot of it I had to begin with, but false lashes are so expensive. They're $12. It's bad.
And then the adhesive you need
the
as
glue
well.
is also expensive.
And the glitter can be expensive.
Yeah.
You don't want to be using dollar store glitter for that type of thing. It's going on your face, right?
Yeah. It's.
So we're going to start wrapping up. So what I was going to tell everybody is that I'm going to put all of your Instagram accounts in the description below. But do you want to all tell me where everyone can find you? Dark Dagger, I know you have a few places people can find you.
You can find me on Facebook, The Dark Dagger, and you can also find me on YouTube. I just started a YouTube channel, so find me as Dark Dagger.
Dark Dagger might come here and do a live.
I may one day, not just soon. Find me on Twitter, _dark_dagger, and definitely find me on Instagram _dark dagger. That's where you can find me.
Want to tell us where everyone can find you? You want to lean forward a bit? Lean forward a bit?
You can find me on Instagram. My username is Full Metal Bad Word. So I'm not going to say that, but it'll be in the description.
We're family friendly here.
I don't want to say it, but it'll be in the description.
You can find me on Instagram at blackberry.cos.
Awesome. Or you're also on Twitter too.
I am on Twitter, so if you're super into the Blue Jays, follow me. It's at BiaGinger, which is BiaGinger, or you can find me on Instagram, where I occasionally post some cosplay stuff. It's mostly vintage fashion, but that's at Pax Victoriana, which she'll post in the description.
Yeah. What about you, Megan?
You can find me on Instagram, thors.crocs.
Oh, and we forgot to mention that you have an ice cream scoop. Victoria's got an ice cream scoop. If anyone's a Stranger Things fan, they'll know what that's all about.
Don't bring it to Fan Expo.
Thank you everyone for coming. Here, one of you can hold it. Thank you everyone for coming today. I really appreciate it. This has been really fun. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves as well. We are live today at the Cadillac Fairview Toronto Eaton Centre. Thank you so much for allowing us to use the space. We really appreciate it. I want to do a big shout out to Prionnsias, who's doing all the tech for us. I really appreciate it. He's awesome. He's running all the tech. Sorry, I forgot your name. And Matthew. Matthew's here as well. Thanks, Matthew. And again, I want to say thank you so much. If you're in Toronto this weekend, Fan Expo is down at the MTCC. It's running all weekend till Sunday. And it's a wonderful opportunity, not just cosplay, but they have all kinds of geekery types of games. They've got illustrators there. They have, it's a wonderful experience. I've been a couple of times. It's really fun if you want to check that out. And I'm Heidi from Costume Co. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, I would love that. You can leave a comment. You can make some comments about what you think about the cosplayers that we have here today. And as always, thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day. Take care.